everybody. It's Jesse again. Welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. Today we're going to go over the 10 rules for being a Gen Xer. 10 things that you pretty much need to call yourself a Gen Xer. And without further ado, I'll count down to number 1. Number 10, Generation X is, as a rule, more patriotic than other generations. We grew up in a time where 4th of July still meant something, and we had grandfathers and uncles and stuff who had fought in major wars, and we know about sacrifice, and we went off to fight after 9/11. So we've got some patriotism running through us, no matter what color you are, no matter what religion, any of that stuff, what gender or sexual preference. We're all basically, as a rule, more patriotic. Number 9, us Gen Xers have a lot of scars, both physical and emotional, internal scars. And a lot of people have scars, but the difference is our scars are from real events. They actually, things that actually could hurt you and scar you, and we had to heal from those things. Nowadays, people get scarred from being dead named and misgendered and all this weird stuff. They just look for reasons to be offended. They're hurt and healing from these imaginary things that back when we were kids, I mean, it just wasn't even a problem. It wasn't even a thing. You call a dude and it was okay. He would have been mad if you called him something else. Nowadays, dudes are mad if you call them dudes. So, yeah, our scars are real, and we've got a lot of them. We've been through real things, been hurt by real events, real catastrophes, real situations, not stuff we made up and decided just whimsically that we're going to be offended by. So that'll make you Gen X too. Number 8, Gen Xers are ready for anything. We've been through the African bee scare, the ozone scare, the ice age scare, nuclear war scare. The list just goes on. Throughout our entire, since the day we were born, we've been through apocalyptic scares. And even if your parents weren't preppers or you weren't a prepper, still in our minds, we had to be ready for the bees or the ozone depletion when it was completely gone. What are we going to do? I mean, all of us thought at least a little bit about it and prepared ourselves at least mentally for what the future might hold. And we had to adjust that for the next one, as you might mentally prepare yourself for, African killer bees, and then, oh, here comes an ice age. Well, what do I do now? So we're ready for anything. Number 7, we're resilient. Not only are we prepared for the apocalypse, at least mentally, we believe that we'll bounce back afterward. We survived so many things, and not just scares, not just these imaginary scares that the media has been hammering us with our entire lives. We've survived real economic hardship, real recessions, real wars, real this and that. I mean, we've survived a lot, and we've always bounce back. We found a way in hard time. A lot of us didn't have $1 million sitting in the bank as a cushion. We had to come back from nothing, and we've all done it. We're all sitting here. We've done it. Number 6, a lot of us have varied tastes in music. You might listen to rap and country, or rock and pop, or country and rock. The music during the time, all of it was so good that we all kind of grew up listening to a smattering of different things. That was before the amalgamation of country, whatever they're calling country and pop music now, when they started mixing together. Before rap ran off and started being hip hop. I don't know what's happened to music nowadays. I don't listen to current music, I'll be honest. So I quit listening to it a while ago. Number 5, we all know individually that we're awesome, but not perfect. We all know we came from an awesome time. We had awesome movies, awesome music. The 80s was great, and growing up in the 70s was great. a lot of freedom, and that made us awesome. What can I say? Part of the reason we're awesome is because we're resilient and ready for anything. We're patriotic, and we've got a lot of scars. Number 4, we question things. We've been told time after time after time that this was going to happen or that was going to happen, and it didn't. They kept promising us the apocalypse and failing to deliver. There was no ice age. The world didn't burn. The world didn't freeze. The crops didn't die before 2000. We're not living in a global desert. Plants are growing pretty good, as far as I know. My garden is doing pretty well. Just so many things that they've lied to us about that now we tend to question things. This is the way we are. You can't do that to people their entire lives and then expect them to swallow everything hook, line, and sinker that comes down the pipe. Number 3, as a rule, Gen Xers want to be left alone. Don't get in my business. Leave me alone. Don't get in my kid's business. Don't force stuff on my kid. Don't force stuff on me. Don't tell me how to think. Don't, just leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. And I think the world would be a better place if people would learn to do that. Number 2, as a rule, Gen Xers don't care about race as much as other generations. And the main reason we don't is because we know that it's ridiculous. Morgan Freeman, I watched Morgan Freeman on there, and some reporter was asking him about race and all this stuff for the hot topics, and he said it best. He told the guy, because the guy asked him, how do we get rid of all these problems? And he told the guy, stop talking about them. What are you, Jewish? The guy said, yeah, I'm a Jew. Do you want to be identified constantly as a Jew? And the guy was, no. Well, don't keep bringing up my skin color and my race and stuff. And he was right. We shouldn't point these things out about each other and separate ourselves from each other because of these ridiculous reasons. We should just be good to each other as best as we can. And like Rodney King said, just get along. I mean, that's just such simple common sense, but our government and our activists and others, they can't figure it out. But we have, because we learned it from a young age. We just grew up that way. Number 1, Gen Xers don't care. We're apathetic. Our last give a blew up with the Space Shuttle Challenger. Our teachers drugged TVs into the room, made us watch it. We all gathered around the TV. We watched the thing explode and however many astronauts die, and then they just unplugged the TV, rolled it back out, and put us back to work. No counseling. Well, that sucked. That was bogus. Back to work. It's not that we don't care. It's just that that's how we are perceived by older and younger generations, because we know that all this stuff going on will probably most likely amount to a hill of beans. So to throw a fit and pull out your hair and quit your job and dig a hole in your backyard to live in, all that stuff is just it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. What's going to happen almost with 100% certainty is you're going to have to get up tomorrow and go to work. We all know this, because we've all done it many times. We've been hearing this for decades, and they just keep pushing the date back that the earth is going to, instead of actually going out and cleaning up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and doing these active things that would actually help humanity and the planet, they just keep saying this stuff about CO2 and carbon and pushing the extinction date back, the apocalypse date back on us, and trying to keep us in a constant state of fear. And because Gen X isn't looking around like this and rioting for climate emergency change, we're seen as apathetic. None of us want the climate to change. We all care about it, but we got to go to work. It's that simple. We have families to support. We have bills to pay. Some people pay their bills and support their family by screaming climate change at us through the TV or your tablet or whatever device you're watching it on. That's how they make their living. They're paid to say that. We realize this. He's paying his bills, sitting there shouting about climate change and these windmills and all this stuff. That's how he pays his bills. If he stopped saying that, he wouldn't be able to pay his bills. So there's a little bit of a problem there when you've got people making money to scream these things at you. And we learned that long ago. And that's it. The 10 rules for being a Gen Xer. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope it brings us together even more as a generation. I think we're the generation that sticks together better than most of them. I hope these kind of messages and insights bring us even closer together, especially during these uncertain times. I appreciate you watching. I really do. Please comment. I enjoy talking with you in the comments. That's awesome. It's awesome. I love commenting with y'all and answering y'all back and stuff. So please comment, like and subscribe if you would. Stay excellent, Gen Xers. I'll see you on the next one.